The colonic hydrotherapy prep involves the digestion, which starts in the mouth. Your glands begin to secrete and excrete enzymes that create the digestive process. And going through the stomach down into the processes of the liver, gallbladder, going down into the large intestine. The reason we want our clients to eat very light and we want them to prep 24 hours before the colonics is to avoid congestion of heavy foods that do not digest and come through anything short of 12 to 14 to 20 hours. When you have a blockage and you have congestion in the intestines, and many people are having problems of having elimination of bowel movements, nothing short of 3 to 4 to 5 days in spaces. The digestion should happen at least every hour and a half after having eaten your last meal. Ideally it should be 30 minutes, but that isn't happening for 90% of our clients here in the clinic. And so the longer all this stuff stays backed up in here, the more toxic the body is, and the more toxic the whole intestinal system becomes, causing our immune systems to go down. And many times when people are eating too fast, under high stress, and they're having all kinds of restrictions and stress, and by the way, the intestines have been coined phrase as a secondary brain to the body. So when you're feeling stress and the intestines and your whole stomach is feeling tightened and you're feeling restrictions, all of this becomes slow and all of this becomes toxic. So when we ask you to prep for the colonics, we ask people to have a light salad the night before with corn, because the corn does not digest. And having eaten the corn, say at 6 o'clock at night, and it still hasn't come through, and it is 11, 12, 3 perhaps in the afternoon the next day, nothing's coming through, then we know that this digestive system is nothing short of 12 to 24 hours of digestion and coming through the intestinal tract. So this causes blockages and restrictions and toxicity. So we ask you to drink a lot of water to begin the process of the cleanse before you come in to do the colonic hydrotherapy. And yogurts, perhaps fruit, drinking a lot of water, beginning that digestive process. If people have foods that are gas causing, it causes a lot of discomfort on the table. And if they're eating beans and burritos, and they're eating sandwiches, or they're eating any type of foods that cause gas, this is what we don't want. And we want to be able to move as much of this out of the digestive tract as we can. Many of the issues that happen is candida restricts the wall of the stomach, coats and clogs the wall of the duodenum, and also causes a blockage throughout the intestines here. And when we have all of this happening, we just feel sluggish and tired and no energy, low immune system, catching everything that comes along. And so when we get all of this cleaned up, it takes anywhere from 5 to 10 sessions for all of this to happen. And the last 2 sessions of the liver gallbladder flush is happening after the whole process of perhaps 6-8 treatments are had on a weekly basis, or we can do them 3 times a week. We can do them 2 times a week, building up to this process of cleanse, slowly emptying out all the excess that has been collected in the intestines over a long period of time. And a plaque, a mucosal plaque, builds right here on the large intestine, coming all the way through, and causes restrictions. And when people say, well, I'm having problems, I have indigestion all the time, I have bloating, I have all kinds of water retention within the intestines or the stomach and the outer body that I never had before. I'm gaining weight in the stomach, and I never had that before. This is because all of this digestion is slow and we're backing up. The plumbing is backing up, so to speak, and that's what happens. And so when we do the prep, we're able to tell how the fats are broken down, we're able to tell how the foods are being digested. Chewing your food 12 to 14 times, getting into that habit, aids in the digestion, and it takes up to 30 days to change a habit. And being mindful, and I call it mindful eating, is the most important process of this whole system here, and the total cleanse. When we do a total cleanse, it actually does a cleanse of the liver, gallbladder. Many times you can see little gallstones, iridescent gallstones coming through the stool, having passed through very comfortably and very easily. It can also reverse hormones. Within the liver walls here are little ducts that you can get proteinized estrogens and proteins backing up and clogging all of this underneath side here of the liver, and that causes hot flashes. It causes irregularity of the body's temperatures, and a toxicity that actually can lead to having the gallbladder removed. And when the hardened stones become calcified, calcification causes the stones and toxicity. And when this happens, it is responsible for 90% of the medical field going in and removing that gallbladder. And the gallbladder is necessary because it is a filter, and so is the liver. When all these filters are compromised and not functioning right, then our whole system slows down. And this is the whole process of why the prep and why we do the colonic hydrotherapy. One of the reasons that colonic hydrotherapy became so popular years ago was because of the cleansing process and the hydration. A lot of our bodies are completely dehydrated, so as we're moving toxins and heavy metals and etc. throughout this whole system, we are creating a healthier environment for the whole intestinal tract. And with several treatments of colonic hydrotherapy, constipation is eliminated. Irritable bowel is many times not the issue any longer. Constipation is caused by a lot of lack of digestion, a lack of absorption of nutrients and minerals. So when we do all this cleansing here, our clients can then get a tune-up, so to speak, for their entire body. And when this happens, a lot of wonderful changes happen. Energy goes up, people sleep better, people have noticed they don't have to take their antidepressants anymore, they don't have to take the sleeping pills anymore because they don't have a problem sleeping. Everything becomes calm. And after having a colonic hydrotherapy, you can expect perhaps not to have a bowel movement for 2 days afterwards. Or you may go continually for the next few hours, which is not a problem. We just opened up the plumbing and things began to move. And quite honestly, getting all of this working in a proper manner is the biggest help for the body's immune system that we can do, along with nutrition. And after having had a colonic hydrotherapy, drinking a lot of fluids is a necessary thing to do. Rest, it is one of the hardest things on the body is digestion. And resting afterwards, getting the cleanse, it's a lot of work for that body to purge all of this in through here and cleanse this. As the body's purging, the peristalsis, wave-like motion throughout the whole entire system begins to speed up, begins to function much nicer. A lot of the stress issues become a irritable bowel problem and a constipation problem because of the restrictions here in these areas. It restricts because of our stress and the lack of oxygen and shallow breathing and the tightening of all the muscles throughout the whole body, the whole system. And this is what happens when we have a clogged, slow system. And more people have a slow digestion than we are aware of until it becomes an extreme issue of a health problem. People should perhaps do a really good liver, gallbladder flush and cleanse, total cleanse, dietary and colonic hydrotherapy once or twice a year. This is the most anti-aging process anyone can do, and also a very healthy benefit throughout their entire life.